Thank you so much. So Dhwani Jain is an engineer turned social entrepreneur, and she's running a comprehensive daycare center in Delhi for the health, education, and skilling of children with special needs and abilities, as well as for students from underprivileged and economically backward sector. She is working rigorously to promote India as a cultural hub with the aim of fostering cultural diplomacy and cultural tourism. She has also been awarded with the Pride of the Nation Excellence Award for her exemplary work in social sector. She has been titled a Dhasu Womania by Niti Aayog powered women entrepreneurship platform and Save Job for making a difference in society by her work, and also featured in a music video with the stalwarts like Maricom and Jaya Jetli along with 30 other women. So we are actually privileged to have you with us, ma'am, and thank you so much for your such an insightful lecture. Thank you so much, ma'am.
चाहूंगा अगर धोनी मैडम है तो धोनी मैडम अपने विचार रख सकती है यहाँ पे। ठीक है, सी इज प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ SRPM इंडिया। तो मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि धानवी जी अपने जो विचार वक्तव्य है यहाँ दें। धानवी जी।
Hello.
हाँ बोलिए।
I think I'm audible. Thank you, Umashankar Pandeyji. Namaskar. A very good morning to all of you. Before I begin my talk, I would like to congratulate Guhar NGO for organizing this series of webinar on such an important topic. And I feel privileged to be participating in this webinar and to discuss the role of civil society during this challenging time. You know, all of us are aware how the COVID-19 pandemic has actually taken the world by storm, and it has impacted the life of each one of us. Definitely, this is a very, very challenging time. However, I feel that this is not a time to feel hopeless, rather to show our inner strength and resilience. I strongly believe that, your inner personality, your true personality is revealed only in tough situations. And under difficult circumstances, the best from an individual comes out. And these human beings are like tea bags, You yourself don't know your strength until you are dipped in hot water. So take this as an opportunity. This is my humble request to all the listeners to take this as an opportunity to understand your inner power and, most importantly, to stay positive at this time. Now, before I delve further into the major challenges and how these challenges can be turned into opportunities, I would like to bring your focus on a very important dimension. The fact is that our life will never be the same again. And sooner or later, we will have to learn to live with this invisible virus. So we can basically divide our lifespan into three phases now. The pre-COVID phase, that is the kind of life we have been used to living. We were going to crowded markets, malls, we were just socializing without any risk, we were shaking hands, and we were kind of living in a very carefree environment. Next comes the COVID phase, that is the present situation when there's an atmosphere of fear and panic. There are so many restrictions on us, and in a very constrained environment we are living. And the third phase is the post-COVID phase. Now, when we speak about the post-COVID phase, the post-COVID world order will be very, very uncertain. And we will have to adapt ourselves to the changing environment. And this particular dimension of adapting to the changing environment, I think, will make the role of civil society even more relevant. And being in this sector for more than half a decade, I can say that, we are kind of veterans in working under not so favorable conditions with a lot of uncertainty. And therefore, civil society must act as torch bearers for the other sectors to deal with this global pandemic. We are used to working in a very unstructured environment, which definitely has its pros and cons. And the pros, when I think about the pros, I think this provides us some kind of flexibility which the government and the bureaucracy do not enjoy. And a lot of things can be done when you have that atmosphere of flexibility. And thus, the NGOs and the voluntary organizations have an important role to hold hands of the government and to become a pillar of strength for the government. After all, it is not even, justified to expect the government to take care of the nitty gritty of us. And we, all of us, everybody must come in support of them. Moreover, the civil society, when I think about the NGOs and the non-profit organizations, they are a kind of bridge between the government and the common people. And therefore, we have a huge responsibility on our shoulders to not only become the voice for the most vulnerable, but to also raise the valid concerns of the society. Now, when I talk about the core challenges in view of the COVID-19 pandemic, I will again divide it into different parts. And the immediate need, when I talk about the immediate need, there are basically 2-3 immediate needs. And the first one is to ensure effective and speedy screening, testing, and then treatment of our people so that the spread of the virus can somehow be curbed. The second important task at the immediate level is to ensure the supply of essential commodities, which includes the food items and medicines and other day-to-day items to the most vulnerable segments that include the daily wage earners, construction workers, our housemaids, car cleaners, and so on. And the third task at hand is the return of migrant workers safely to their native towns, cities, and villages. And when I say that the civil society has played a very crucial role in a responsible manner at this time, there is no doubt in that. And all of us have seen how various voluntary organizations have come to the forefront during this time and taken care of all the above activities. And they've been providing cooked meals, water, sanitary products, and others to the needy in different parts of the country. And somehow the NGOs have been instrumental in filling the gaps that the government often tends to miss. Because in the whole range of things that the government has, so sometimes you miss some people, and there comes the role of civil society. Moreover, civil society with years of experience of working at the ground level have enjoys a certain kind of trust of the people of the communities. And therefore, another important role that the civil society must play at this time is to educate the masses, to generate awareness and tell the people the importance of maintaining social distance, about the importance of maintaining hygiene, and to educate our people about the need of washing and sanitizing our hands at regular intervals, not touching our ears, eyes, and nose, mouth, because they have that kind of trust. And when civil society talks to the communities they have been working with, they are heard more carefully and people listen to them and follow them. Moreover, when the government communicates through the medium of the mass media, it is generally a one-way communication. Whereas the NGOs, through its resources, when it connects to the population, it makes for a two-way communication. And I think that vastly reduces the scope of any kind of confusion and any kind of misinformation. And therefore, it leads to better implementation and understanding of the government guidelines. The next important task in hand is the economic revival, as Pandeyji has already mentioned. And due to the continued lockdown and the consequent cessation of economic activities, the Indian economy is definitely on a downward spiral. And this has hit the most marginalized communities the hardest. And it has also led to rising inequalities. We know that the government has come up with a slew of important measures to give a boost to the economies. But again, the NGOs must fulfill their responsibility. They should be imparting skills to the workers who are returning to their villages, to their towns, and help them in starting a new life. And second is in the process of creation of self-help groups. NGOs must come forward and help in the creation, as well as in providing the necessary support to the self-help groups in terms of provision of raw material, expertise, marketing, seed funding, and so on. Our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji has already given a call for Atmanirbhar Bharat and to promote Swadeshi. It is good that a lot of NGOs had already been working in this direction, and such NGOs, I feel, must continue to do so to promote the Indian products. I myself feel privileged to be associated with such initiatives of promoting the weavers of our country. And I feel that at this moment, each one of us, every Indian, must become a brand ambassador of Swadeshi and hear this call of being an Indian and buying Indian, which will definitely spur the Indian economy. The next challenge will be to adapt ourselves to the changing environment. And like it has been said that this webinar is one such example, and a lot of us have been able to move on to the digital platforms very easily. But sadly, this is not the situation in far-flung areas, and a lot of our brothers and sisters do not enjoy uninterrupted access to internet and laptops. And we must do something about it. Same challenges occur in the education sector as well. We've been seeing that a lot of students are attending online classes around us. But in far-flung areas, the situation is quite different. And a lot of students are at a risk of dropping out from school. There's another risk associated with it because, the government has been providing midday meals in the primary schools, and that was taking care of the nutritional needs of the students along with their educational requirement. Now, with the lockdown and the closure of all the educational institutions, the midday meal has also come to a halt, and this puts the health of the most deprived segments of students at risk. So I feel the local NGOs must come forward to fill this gap and also help in building the digital divide that I just said, so that the fruits of digitization, which we are enjoying sitting in our homes, can reach out to the maximum people. Another level that we can talk about the impact, that will be the impact of COVID-19 and the consequent lockdown at the individual level. There are reports that say that there's a marked increase in the level of depression at this time because, people are not allowed to socialize like before. And the situation is even more stressful for, I think, old couples who are staying alone and who are not even digital savvy. And the civil society, in fact, each one of us, I urge every one of you who are listening to me today to at least go out and not go out, but at least look out in your vicinity. If somebody in your neighborhood is staying alone, some old couple is staying alone and they need a help, you can definitely lend a helping hand to them, and that will really change their life at this tough moment. Studies have shown that there's a definite link between happiness, which is a very important aspect, and the social network. With the lockdown, our networks have somehow been disrupted. So I think we must create some alternate ways of communication with each other, because social distancing must not mean emotionally distancing ourselves from our people. Another very disturbing trend that I've been hearing about is the rapid rise in the cases of domestic violence, to the extent that United Nations has recognized domestic violence as a shadow pandemic alongside the COVID-19 pandemic. Home is considered to be the safest haven for any individual. And it is just frightening to even imagine the plight of a woman who's suffering at home. When a person is forced to suffer at home and forced to face abuse at home, he or she has absolutely no place to go, and their life become a living hell, to the extent that it impacts their psychological and physical health, which would result and impact the family as well as the nation and the society at large. And therefore, I again request the NGOs who have been working in the field of women's safety and empowerment to take vigil of this as well, and provide a helping hand to the silent victims. They can provide some kind of legal help and support, as well as counseling to the victim and their partners. So there have been enough of the challenges. I've been talking about the major challenges, and looks like everything is very gloomy, but there is a silver lining. And I think this set of challenges provides us a unique opportunity as well. Now, India has the benefit of a demographic dividend. We are also the biggest market. And this is the time to claim our rightful place in the world. But all of us will have to come together to make this dream become a reality. We really have the opportunity to become the biggest producer or the biggest manufacturer if we can rightly leverage the power of our youth and our knowledge. But along with that, we must also take lessons from the past. And our economies, our societies, and our communities have to rediscover how to live in harmony with nature. And how we do that in the coming years, coming days, will in large part determine whether the magnitude of these pandemics, these natural disasters, and other crises become more and more intense, or whether we can reestablish some degree of coexistence with nature that actually stabilizes our communities, our societies, and our economy. And on that positive note of hope, I would end my talk. I wish all of you the very best for future. Please stay safe, stay positive, and stay motivated. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dhoni, for giving very innovative talk and at least telling all the people, giving the proper information that how the NGO can help at least to all the persons in this situation. Not only this, you also talked about the Atmanirbhar Bharat, also the initiative which have been taken by the government of India and many others. Naturally, although you have touched the very important point of this other activities which is happening, loneliness, happiness, and other aspect of the psychological things. That is definitely required at the moment. So if anybody is having question, please note down. We will take the things later on. So Dhoni has given really very informative things about it. Now our next speaker